race fans, to your Friday night. It is the V8 Veterans Round 11 Split 2 broadcast tonight thanks to Quantitin Solutions. We're at Road America as we were last night for the top split, and we are heading into the final part of this championship now. Only one round to go after tonight, so the penultimate round tonight. And the points are pretty close as well. We can show you right now an updated points prior to this race. Travis Hunt from Scorpion eSports, in fact Scorpion eSports 1-2 up there, with Paul Hayes on 1,414 points versus 1,354. So not a bad little lead with 2 rounds to go, but we'll see how tonight unfolds, of course. And John King sitting in third, Rick Flyover right up there in fourth as well. Scott Weston rounding out your top 5 in this championship for Split 2. And as I said in previous broadcasts, this is the first time it has been split championship-wise across the 3 different splits, and each individual championship will have its own top 3, which is fantastic. All right, let's take you down to the racetrack. We'll go straight to the grid for tonight's race. We're straight into it. This is how they will start off the front row. Travis Hunt to go pole position tonight. John King will start alongside him with Rick Flyover and Matty Parker off the second row. Roy Clark and Paul Hayes off the third row with the Hoff, and Duggan out of P7 and 8. Then it's Peter van der Kraan and Simon Pitt rounding out your top 10. Scott Weston will start from 11th alongside Troy Sipple. Then next to Troy Sipple as we head across the page, 13th on the grid, Jason Fewens with Mark Peck. Todd Martin will be there as well with Jason Scala. And then you've got Peter Latham and Fletcher Christian, 18th position on the grid tonight, followed by then Murray Reale, Reg James, your top 20 with Richard Barella back in 21st, Craig Healy, Tim Betts and Michael Quain to round out your 24 on the grid. 25th, as we hit to the back, it is the man who supplied us the replay file, Dave Baldock. And then Dave Worrell next to him, the safety car standing by if needed. Josh Drake's there as well, Lucas Burt down the back of this order. Let's get set to go racing for this tonight. 2-stop strategy, 250 kilometres around this Road America circuit. It is a tricky one, it's high speed. We saw some pretty big incidents last night in the race.
Can I have a radio check, 106 please?
There's John King with the radio check, so his radio is working nice and loud and clear. But yes, like I said, just getting through the first couple of laps will be important, and hoping they can then settle into a strategy. Fuel saving will be obviously evident in the first stint. Second stint, third stint should be a different story tonight. Will we see a safety car?
Radio check, please.
Will we see them bunch up artificially with a safety car tonight? Can Travis Hunt just continue to do what he's been doing all season long and take off into the distance? He did give me a track guide, but I asked him for a video download. He didn't get it to me, so hopefully Trav, I'm sorry if we haven't been able to show that tonight, but I definitely need a Dropbox next time. Very cool though to see him circulating around this circuit very, very quickly. Hello everyone tuning in over on YouTube, Facebook and Twitch tonight. There's a load of you obviously tuning in on a Friday, having a few drinks. I tell you what, I'm having a couple of whiskeys myself tonight. It's been a big week, time to relax, get into this one. The V8 Veterans, all the drivers over the age of 40, split number 2. So the top split ran last night. Straight after this broadcast, split 3 will be live over on the Wodonga Cars and Parts TV channel, WKMP TV, with John Van Ree. Thanks Keith for the stars, welcome aboard tonight. Elbows out, Pecky says Wombat 89. I think there'll be a bit of that tonight. We're just waiting on Todd Duggan to grid up, and also Lucas Burt right at the back. We've got Josh Drake tonight in the safety car, standing by if needed, the Bay 21 Porsche safety car. So it's a long wait, a long hold here as we get set to get away, and the drivers will just be getting nervous at this stage. 15 seconds of staging to go. You'll hear the revs rise, and our little flagman up there above the welcome race fans will wave that green flag, and we'll get underway. Righto, Stephen Morris says, what were the quali times? Mate, too late for that. We're about to go racing. We'll get to that later for you. Here we go. We're getting set for a green here. 250 kilometres to get underway. And there it is. Green flag. Good start in the front. John King got away well out of P2. He's trying to get an early jump as we head down the pit straight away. Look at this. Jostling for position already as they sprint past us 2 by 2. They go 3 in the background as well. But down through turn 1. Nice job so far. Roy Clark is holding position on the exit of the corner. He's got Matty Parker just in front and Hayes with him as well. Into the braking zone they go, side by side again. Clark and Hayes, a bit of a hip and shoulder there. I think there was a little bit of contact. And we've lost Jason Fewens in the background. Big pile up down the back of the field. Cars around down there. And we've lost Fewens and I think Tim Betts as well. We stay with this battle at the front. They head down towards the next big braking zone. Oh, dearie me. One of the cars out of shape there was Paul Hayes into the fence. Big crash into the fence. And dearie me, I think that was Clark involved in that one too. So Clark's kept it running. But oh no, Clark's out of control now. Across the grass, rejoins. And Troy Sippel goes to one side, Mark Peck goes to the other. And they get through. So wow, opening lap jitters for a few of these drivers tonight. Travis Hunt though out in front. Gets himself the early margin of around half a second. Lap 1 of 39 tonight. That's the gap back to John King, who equally got a great start, got a great get-go, but then is now just sat back half a second, probably hoping to just stay away from any carnage. Let's have a quick look at the small screen replay on that second one. That was, I think, Hayes out of control. Just snatched a break. It looked like he just touched the dirt there. That sent him across into Clark. Big hit, tagged someone else on the way through as well. And oh dear, they've all got going again. That's not good at all. Trying to see, was it Van der Crown, I think? No, it wasn't. It was one of those guys that got tagged at the same time. So plenty of action. Unfortunately, we've lost a few drivers early on in this race tonight, but Travis Hunt still leads out in front half a second as they go to cross the line. Lap 1, he's looking very, very good. Parker the quickest of anyone though as they go through. Duggan in tow, top 3 stretching away. You can see there's your top 3. Todd Duggan has dropped back now, 4.3 seconds in the opening lap with the Hoff. That's due to that impact. It's just opened the field up a little bit. Troy Sippel, Peck and Latham tucked in behind. We're on board with Peter Latham now. So he's just tucked in behind Pecky and Sippel. We've got another car off the track. It's Fewens, who has not had the best start tonight. Jason Scala gets a 10-point post-race penalty for the incident with Jason Fewens on lap 1, and sadly it's put Jason Fewens in the Banter Alliance car right on the back foot and at the rear of this field, so he won't be happy at all with that as the top guys start to get closer and closer now. Looking at Matty Parker, hasn't he been quick week in, week out throughout, especially the second half of this season, the Nova Motorsports car? Attacking now, P3, that gap is growing behind as well, 4.9 seconds back to 4th. A 10-point post-race penalty for Paul Hayes as well for the incident with Roy Clark. That was the wipeout we saw earlier as well. So those penalties being handed out post-race. And the drivers continue to jostle at the front. So the Scorpion eSports car at the moment, Trav TV on the back. Travis Hunt doing a very, very good job. We'll no doubt talk to him during the broadcast tonight. We'll talk to a few of the drivers hopefully when we get safety cars and little gaps in proceedings. But it is a 250k race. Went pretty quickly last night. The drivers definitely had the wick turned up. We'll see what this second lap results in. It was a 2-minute 11 standing start lap there for Matt Parker. He had the quickest time over the first lap. So we'll see what they do this time around. David Worrell's off at that very corner that...
Good catch, Dave.
Yeah, if you saw that, he said good catch, Dave. It was a good catch. He's kept it relatively tidy. He's wiped the side out of the car. There was, I think, we saw Greg Favell throw the victory away at that very corner last night. There's your top 3 heading down towards turn 1 once again, and look at that. 1, 2, 3. Wait for Todd Duggan. Back a long, long way. There's Duggan now coming through, and then you've got Hoffman and Pitt. Good battle between those two. Let's jump on board with Simon Pitt because he's right up behind the Hoff and getting closer and closer under brakes. You can see that big rear wing of the Hoff, very prominent in the line of sight here for Simon Pitt. Behind them, battle for 9th place with Troy Sippel. He's chasing down the Type N eSports driver Scott West, and Mark Peck's in there too. Peter Latham on the back of that. Troy Sippel holding his own. Good chance to thank and mention our sponsor, Quantum Tint Solutions. How good does that car look? Although it looks better on the left-hand side. Troy's wiped off the right-hand signage. We'll have to have a word with the boss about that. So Fewens, Worrell and a few others in the pit lane. Remember this strategy tonight, they can stop quite early and still make it a 2-stopper. So some of those drivers will be just choosing now to fill it right to the brim. and then get underway. Hopefully maybe a couple of safety cars here and there as well, just to help out. So how good does the Scorpion eSports car look? Shining in the light here once again. There is the Nova Motorsports car, Matt Parker. Just slightly sideways. John King also just touching the dirt there. Now, it's become a bit of a trade here with the V8 vets that his first stint becomes a little bit of a follow the leader. You don't tend to see a lot of excitement now that it's settled down slightly. These drivers will just try and jump into some sort of fuel saving mode, and where you do lose out is when you've got three guys at the front now pulling a margin of 6.2 seconds on fourth. So the Hoff, Simon Pitt, Peter van der Kraan, they're all back in this little train of cars and now falling well off the lead. It's already 11.5 seconds covering the top 10. So there's Mark Peck still trying to get onto the back of Troy Sipple. Further back down the order, Todd Martin battling with Reali and Quaney. 57's in there as well. Let's jump on board with Quaney. Getting a good look at this, and Reali right with him in front. Now he looks to the inside. Todd Martin comes across to close the door. So good little battle in the mid-pack. This is for 15th, 16th, 17th and 18th place. We're on board with P19, Michael Quain, old mate and sons. It's a really good fight. Look at Reali leaving the door wide open there, and Quain, who was late on the brakes too, had to go to the right hand side of the circuit just to avoid the back of Todd Martin's car. You got to feel that he's maybe got a little bit more pace here. He needs to get through, and he goes for a big dive down the inside, not close enough. Thought he was going to go for it and succeed, but he didn't. He holds back now, starts again. So I guess, like I was saying, it's a bit of follow the leader now, and who wants to take the most out of their tyres. Most guys will just be happy now to get through to the first main stop. And a big thanks to Rick Viger again for the info last night. So 39 lap race, maximum fuel burn around 4.98 litres per lap. And thanks Peter for the stars, man. Basically they can start with 60 litres of fuel, which gives you a lap 12 maximum fuel range. And then you can put in 93.5 litres of fuel, which gives you about 18 to 19 laps of fuel running. So we'll see lap 12, everyone will need to be in by then, but tonight's critical laps 2 and 20 means you can stop lap 2 and still make it home on a 2-stop strategy. Fantastic, isn't it? So Dave Baldock currently running in 20th for the Banter Alliance, and like I say, each Friday night this man supplies our replay file. Without him we wouldn't be seeing any action at all. So thanks Dave Baldock. Banter Alliance, ex-PRA, the merger between PRA and EMU Sim Racing, has produced this beautiful new livery and doesn't look the part. Dave Baldock, he screams down the pit straight here. Fantastic shot, and now through turn 1. It's going off on another lap. Let's go up to the top again because it's quite close between Travis Hunt and John King. Matt Parker still sitting in P3 looking back from Travis Hunt's car. With the Hoff in E5. Quite busy here. He's got Simon Pitt sitting in behind. Peter van der Kraan racing nicely up 2 spots. 7th. Scott Weston has made up 3 tonight into the top 8. Sipple up 3. Peck up 4 into the top 10. So this little battle we're watching now, they've all made decent gains. It's only really the top 2 drivers, Hunt and King, that have held position from the start tonight. Everyone else has made decent gains in the top 17. Then you go from 18th down to 27th. There's a couple of sad faces there, including Roy Clark, Rick Viger, Jason Fewens and Paul Hayes, who have lost a huge amount of places tonight. Welcome to the spammers. Let's quickly try and block them. Big thanks, man, too, for those stars. I want to say 39-week streak for you, man. 39 weeks in a row you've been here supporting me, doing what I do. So it doesn't go unnoticed, Keith. Thanks so much, my friend. And don't forget, Sunday night we've got a cool. It's the final round of. In fact, it's the final round of Australian Sports Car Championship altogether. They're going to have a break after that, and we're going to give some money to Beyond Blue. So anyone that's donated with some star money, you're going to see a bit of that go back to Beyond Blue. So thank you for the ongoing support as Peter Vanderkraan gets right up underneath Scott Weston, and he is looking racy. Let's jump on board with him as he tries to push for an overtake here, then backs out of the throttle as I predicted earlier. This is the follow the leader. I'd love to actually see it more aggressive, and maybe one day we'll see sprint races again, short sprint format where they just do go 10 tenths, but we are now in this formation flying. John King, I think he'd be happy, JWME Motorsports, just to sit back and relax for the next 6 or so laps, save as much fuel as you can. We saw massive fuel saving last night, and what a nail-biting finish at the end between the teammates, Christian Smart and Jamie McKnight. It was great, wasn't it? But Travis Hunt looks in a world of his own and leading the championship. This is why he's been consistent. 206.65 his best lap time tonight. With 206.38 now. So pretty decent pace around this Road America circuit. I love the way they tuck into these final couple of corners and then down the pit straight. You see just that little gap opening up back to a second between first and then second place. They're still interlocked, and then coming onto the pit straight now, Todd Duggan, that's how far back fourth place is. The gap now 9.8 seconds from the lead. So it's gapped out slightly. There's Latham on the back of this battle between Vanderkraan, Sippel, and Beck as well. Barella for WKMP flying along. Stephen Banks is in the house too, says Friday night watching V8 Vets. Nice to have you here, Stephen. Thanks for the 100 stars, man. It's been good watching you race too. You always make me feel like KFC though, for some reason. Rich James, Advanced Reliance driver, Bay 21, the man who sponsors the safety car. There he is on your screen right now, the 038. He's got a bit of damage that front. Split up, looks like it's been into the back of a few other cars, or maybe even the fence. So James on his way here ahead of Riali. It's a pretty even spread tonight as well of the cars as far as Fords and Holdens. So we've got a Ford Mustang leading the race, 2 Holdens behind, then another Mustang in fourth, Todd Duggan. And there's James having a look now down the inside. Nice overtake, that's on Tim Betts, so very, very nice. He's going to have Betts come across and give him a little bit of a rub though. So Betts fights it back, and
don't worry about leaving next race.
just trying to listen to what James says there. That was quite an aggressive little. Oh, and then he's run off the track again. So he gets through after all that. So
I'm happy to have a chat about it later if you want to come up.
So he's not 100% happy, I don't think, James, with that bit of contact, but anyhow, racing, bit of rubbings racing, that's how they do it in the real V8 Supercars. I was watching the race the other day thinking, man, these guys are rough. They don't mind leaning on each other, that's for sure. Lap 7 now, going into lap 8, 39, Hunt leads, and that we might try and chat to some drivers shortly. Get a bit of insight into how it was feeling as we head towards the first pit stop phase of this race. Don't forget tonight, make sure you go over to YouTube and give yourselves a subscribe to WKMP for that broadcast of Split 3. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm usually tucked up in bed by the time it's finishing, but I do jump in and have a quick look. Johnny doing a great job. Oh, contact again. Reg James involved in this as I go back further in the field. Riali goes through. There was the slightest bit of contact between them. I wonder if we expect to hear James back on the radio again. He's been quite vocal. And Riali nice overtake in the end. Just had to work over Reggie a little bit. Let's jump on board with Quaney 57. He's now up behind Reg James, up 8 positions tonight. Quain had a great run. You can see Reg James though blocking off the inside line, making sure his car is very, very wide and not very inviting for someone like Quain to have a shot. Here comes Todd Martin though. Gets a bit of an overlap up the inside. Nice overtake. So he set that up. I reckon Martin though on the outside. We see this quite often. The cars go down the inside, then they can fire it up around the outside, and then it becomes the inside. So I'm loving this about this circuit, which we don't visit all that often. I rarely come here for broadcasts. It's really just the V8 Vets every couple of seasons. It's a lot of fun though. Dave Bordock now up into, Dave Bordock into 17th, 18th place it was, and there was a little bit of contact there.
Through the hill.
And is he going to let him go? I don't think he is. So Bordock hangs it on the outside and he gets through. Tim Betts is coming through fast as well. Here comes Betsy now down the inside on Bordock. So Dave Bordock goes back to 19th after all that. And once again, I reckon down in the mid-pack here towards bottom of the top 20, that's where there's a little bit more action and a little bit more rubbing as well. So these drivers throwing it all at it. As off the track was Jason Fewens. He's gone for a bit of a spin down there and regathers it back in 23rd position. Back with your race leaders. This is Travis Hunt, top 3, covered by 1.1 seconds. Let's jump on board for a bit with Matt Parker. Little comment from Blake Warboy says that a lot of the WKMP crew will be racing together in real life this weekend at Wodonga Kart Club. So very cool. If you're near Wodonga, go down and check it out. Obviously WKMP being Wodonga Karts and Parts, their main sponsor. So fantastic. Might have to hit them up for a go-kart one of these days, I reckon. Myself out to Picton go-karts. That's the closest one to me. Go for a bit of a thing. See if they can hook me up with something fast for a big boy like me. Righto, Hoffman P5, Simon Pitt 6, Scotty Weston, Vanderkran, Sippel, Latham and Christian just outside the top 10 now. We haven't seen Fletcher yet tonight, but there he is. He's in 11th place, 7 spots up tonight. Craig Healy as well. Moving forward up 10 into the top 12. Lap 9, I wonder if King or Parker may consider an undercut here. Like I said, it's a little bit loose on the fuel strategy tonight. They can all stop any time after lap 2 and still make it a 2-stop strategy. They'll run out of fuel at around lap 12, so Matt Parker in particular is all over the back now of John King. And I expect he will probably be the one that thinks about jumping in for an undercut. Top 3 now stretch that lead out to 12.8 seconds to Todd Duggan. And I'm surprised Duggan is that far off the pace tonight. He's about 1.5 seconds per lap off the pace of Hunt, King and Parker, as we now see Simon Pitt challenging Scott Weston once again. Peter Vanderkrant's having a nice run tonight, holding position in P8. Jump on board with him in the Holden Commodore. And there's a lot going on this week, RACESTARS TV too, just to give you a bit of an outline of what's coming up. So obviously Sunday night, make sure you come and farewell the Australian Sports Car Championship, which has been great fun. And their send-off obviously will be this Sunday, the 29th, and that's it then for the month for me. We come back on the 1st of June with the Pro Series, the Logitech G Pro Invitational Series, doing the production for that one again on Wednesday from Winton, and then back with the V8 Vets for what is the final round. We'll be able to crown a champion in the V8 Vets on the 2nd and 3rd of June. So it's a couple of big weeks with a lot of series wrapping up and a lot of championships to be run and won. So is this the moment we see Parker dive into the pits? We'll wait and see. It's lap 10 now, going into lap 11. John King currently just in front by half a second. And this is where you'd see him peel off if he does, and he doesn't. So stays out there for another lap. There goes your top three. Let's have a look at Duggan. That's how far back it is. And Andrew Hoffman has now closed that margin up onto the back of Duggan, who's stopped. So he's the first to call it quits and go into the pit lane. Todd Duggan from P4 comes in to take fuel. So this is good. And Troy Sippel came in with him. So Troy's also gone into the lane and will work out how much fuel they need for this next part of the race. Who was that diving in? Craig Healy with a late lunge into the pits as well. Riali, I think, will stay out. Reg James will stay out as well. Todd Martin will stay out. 2057's into the pits. So a few drivers picking lap 11 as their lap to come in and get fuel service. Jamie McKnight says, Trav, stop making it boring. Slow down. He's looking quick, isn't he? But John King, I reckon, is matching him, and so is Parker. I just think there's a bit more to this story we're going to see later on in the race. And we may see it in the fuel stops as well, especially Parker. If he can stop and take a second less fuel because of all this fuel saving, game on with himself and Hunt towards the end of this race. Watch this fast right-hander. This is where we saw Greg last night get wide and then into the fence. So easy to do. They're right on the limit. You can see skimming across the grass there was Matt Parker on corner exit. Travis Hunt in the foreground there. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful livery on the car. Great conditions for motor racing again tonight. Cold track, as the V8 vets love it. 18 or 19 degrees. Generally is the ambient temperature with a 20-degree track. They squeal and cry if it goes over 20 degrees, don't they, Jamie? Into the pits now, your race leader's in. King goes in as well. Parker carries on. So the overcut is on here for this man, and he is super quick. Don't you worry. The Nova Motorsports 199. Matty Parker can now unleash the full potential of this Holden Commodore. Can he get himself a run on King and Hunt? This will need to be a clean lap. We'll stay on board for the lap and see how it pans out. Scott Weston has also come into the pits. Sorry, Scott Weston's moved up in a second. He stayed out. Simon Pitt also stayed out, and so did Peter van der Kraan. Top four drivers now are covered by 16 seconds, so what a spread it is at this stage. Matt Parker looking pretty good so far on this in-lap. He'll want to punch it in as quickly as he can, maybe decide to take track position, or just run his natural game. I think we saw 32 seconds worth of fuel going into some cars last night at the first stop. Troy Sippel took 34.7 on that occasion there, and around 28 is the average looking at fuel. And Paul Hayes only 18 seconds of fuel. That was on that lap one stop, so for him he wouldn't have had the room to put extra in the tank, I don't think, so that's why Hazy had such a short stop, may need to stop again. Hunt comes out in P7 and starts another lap. John King comes out behind him, 36 seconds worth of fuel versus 39 seconds worth of fuel for Hunt and King. Right, let's wait for this man to hit the pit lane and see what he can do. So I think he was about a second and a half off the lead, so he's going to need a time less than about 35 seconds stationary if he wants to get the under or the overcut, sorry. So, as Jamie's saying, it's part of the DNA of the series that they have a freezing cold track. Always need to have your jacket on if it's a V8 Vets race. It's always freezing. The wind blowing, ice cubes down the pit lane. So here we go, Matt Parker in the pits. Important pit stop now. Weston and Pitt will also stop. These drivers that have pushed on for the extra lap must have the red light flashing, and the pit crew screaming down the radio saying, come on, you've got to come in, we're out of fuel. And the important one to watch is Travis Hunt, 7th place. Where is he? He's coming down through the back end of the circuit now, so he's just going to drop under a minute off the gap to Parker, but that will decrease very, very quickly now that Parker is stationary. He's 10 seconds into his pit stop. Travis Hunt just come out through the final couple of corners now. There's Parker, stationary in the pits still. 22 seconds stationary. 25 now. Where's Travis Hunt? Here he is, coming up the pit straight. Parker drops off the jacks now. This is going to be close. Parker gets away and he gets down towards turn 1 in the lead of this race. So shortish stop, only 28.6 seconds worth of fuel. The gap 5.3 seconds, one to watch now. He needs to try and pull away. He's going to obviously he'll have to pay for that fuel, or the lack of fuel that he put in the next pit stop. It was a difference of about 8 seconds, which gives a deficit of 5.3. You can see Hunt in the background there. He'll be on the case now to try and close it up. Andrew Hoffman's off the track and back on again. Drops 2 or 3 positions in doing so. No damage on the car. I think it was just a slight little spin. Rubbing and racing down the back. This is Quaney, Duggan and Martin in 21st position. It's paying off all of their panels, these guys. Incredibly fast racing, but Duggan now just leads that little battle pack for 20th place. He's well out of position to where he would like to be. Quaney's having another go, leans on him again. Look how close Quaney 57 is to Todd Duggan, giving him more than a couple of taps of Morse code there. He's got that Ford Mustang badge right imprinted in the back bumper bar. So excellent. I like seeing this as we see the top guys, the gap 5.5, sustaining it at the moment. Matty Parker coming out firing. Jason Scala just been flashing up with a few off tracks. I think he's all good. Craig Healy just tucked in behind as well. Then Richard Barella next in the order. Western now ahead of Mark Peck, 5th and 6th place. Peter Latham's also quite close to the back of Peter Vanderkraan. A couple of Peters here racing each other. Troy Sipples behind them, but 7th and 8th place in front. And Peter Vanderkraan, like I said, he's up 2 spots tonight. Peter Latham's up 9 into the top 8. Everyone now has made their first round of pit stops, which is decent to know. Paul Hayes being the one that's a little bit out of whack there with a first lap incident. He came into the pits. Now he's got himself back into 4th place, but I guess for fuel saving you'd probably hope there's at least one safety car tonight, because I don't think you can 2-stop from a lap 1 pit entry. You just can't get enough fuel in on lap 1. It is definitely lap 2, but with enough fuel saving anything is possible in this series. So see how that all pans out. We'll have a look at the difference in fuel stoppage time as well. And you can see that's the total time. There's the actual stoppage time. So 28.7 for Parker, 36.0 for Hunt, and 39.1 for King. John King, by the sounds of it, missed his pit box and had to reverse, so that's why his time was a little bit extra. 38.6 for Weston, 29.4 for Peck, and 37.8 for Vanderkraan, 33.7 for Latham, 34.8 for Sipple, and 36.6 for the Hoff. So there's a little variance there in all those numbers, but all in all, drivers are mainly going on the same strategy tonight, and that is just to fuel them right up. The gap's still 5.9. It's increased by about 0.4. Matt Parker doing exactly what he needs to do. The last thing he needs, though, is a safety car, because remember, he'll need to take that 8 seconds of fuel extra in the next pit stop. The safety car now would ruin that, and he just gets the gap for the first time out over 6 seconds. So perfect job. If you can get that out to around 8 or 9 seconds in this stint, then it's game on, and he may still be able to maintain the lead after this second pit stop. Remember, they can take the second stop around lap 20, lap 21 to bring it home to the end of the race. Righto, let's get some people over for a chat at some point tonight. So, by the way, if you're watching and you want to comment, you've got to be a subscriber. So, well done. Ben Anthony's just gone to flick that over for us. So, I'm trying to get rid of some of the spam bots. So here's a shot of, as we're looking at Matty Parker leading the race. This is them, this is what they're going to be doing on the weekend, I think. So that's Dave Galley and also Matty Parker in that photo, which is very, very cool. State champs racing over there, so that's very cool. Some images like that sent through to us, so thanks, Matty. Enjoying this tonight. 6.1 seconds, increasing that gap. Last lap around did a 206.5 versus a 206.9 for Hunt. And I'm sure Hunt's aware of what's gone on. He would have seen the relative drop in the pit stop, so he knows that Parker's probably underfueled. And I'm not sure, does crew chief tell you that sort of information about other drivers? I think it might. You do get a little bit of insight of what other drivers have done in the pit stop or how long they were stopped for, so we carry on. It's Troy Sipple for Quantum Tint Solutions now in 9th place, up 3. He's got his hands full with the Hoff, who's been pestering the back of him, and also Simon Pitt, lap after lap. These guys are back in the 208s, 207s, so once again, about a second and a half to a second off the pace of the race leaders, which surprises me slightly. I thought it would have been a little bit closer to the top 10 tonight. As we wait for Jason Scala to go through now. There he goes. Christian Healy in tow. Craig Healy just disappearing slightly there. So it's all quite spread out at the front now. Let's have a look at the track map and just have a look at how far it is between top drivers. You can see first, second, third and fourth, quite an even spread, then a big gap back to P5, 6, 7. 8th is right on the tail of 7th, and 9th, 10th, 11th all together as well. Very, 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 very much gapped out at this stage of the race. So Ben Anthony sent me a photo that says this is a bit more like what Matty Parker would look like in a go-kart. Nice one, Ben. That's classic. Righto. Who's going to win this race tonight? Do we get an early prediction on Matt Parker versus Travis Hunt versus John King? They look like they're in a world of their own as King goes wide at that very dangerous, fast right-hander. Saw last night that happening time and time again. The Hoff, is he in super fuel saving mode? We know he's got this special fuel saving ability, Andrew Hoffman. Has he engaged that now tonight, or is he just running the normal fuel saving strategy? Pitty Pitt says this track can bite you hard. You can. There is Simon Pitt. The bright green wheels, the Pitty Pitt machine, trying to chase down the Hoff. Let's ride on board with him for a lap or so. Let's jump into some visor cam with Simon Pitt and watch his style over a lap. Here we go. board with Simon Pitt as he continues to chase down Andrew Hoffman. Meanwhile, the Hoff's getting quite close to Troy Sipple as well. Towards turn 1 here, lap 18 of 39, so it's getting close to the halfway point of this race. Let's see if we've got anyone standing by for a chat. Yeah, we'll see if we can get some drivers in to have a little bit of chat as we come down towards the end of this series. Looks very hard to pass with these cars, says Stephen Murray. Fewens now has a look at Tim Betts down the inside. Nice overtake. Gives himself up another position. Oh, Clark in the fence in a big, big way. That's blown up too. So this could be a safety car because I think that's expired. Oh no, he's kept the motor running. He's on fire though. So plenty of fire down there, or has it gone away? So Clark in big, big trouble, and that's big damage. He might be able to limp it back to the pits. He's about to let it go, but there'll be oil all over the racetrack now. We wish. As the race leader goes through and gets a good look at that smoke. Travis Hunt will be the next up the road that sees the trailing smoke like an old World War I fighter plane that's been shot, limping its way back to base. You see that smoke cloud up ahead. Just try and avoid any incident here. It does cover your windscreen in.
Oh, Matty, that's tough, man.
Travis thought that was Matt Parker.
Sorry, wrong person.
Yeah, he did too. Oh, that's funny. So, Travis Hunt said, "Oh, Matty, that sucks," thinking that it was him with the blown motor, but it wasn't. So he said, "Oh, wrong person." Classic. Right, we've got a couple of people in the green room now. Let's bring them in for a chat. We've got Reg James and Peter Latham joining us now live on the broadcast. Welcome, boys. Welcome, Peter. First of all. And obviously they can't hear me, so I'll do that full intro again. Hello, boys. Welcome, Peter, and welcome, Reg, to the broadcast tonight. How you doing, fellas?
Yeah, good look.
Yeah, very good, very good.
I was a real noob there. I had myself muted. So, Peter, first of all, mate, good to see you out there racing tonight, enjoying yourself. You're up inside the top 10, 7th position. How did it feel at this stage, man?
Yeah, good. I was battling all the way through. The guys were really clean racing. We had some real close calls. But yeah, I just got my head down tonight and wanted to get back up in front again because I didn't do a very good job at qualifying as usual. So yeah, you got to make it up on the track.
At this stage, you're chasing down Mark Peck. We keep losing you off the feed, so I'll just have to show from Pecky's perspective. I'm not sure if your internet was a little bit down last night, but mate, it's looking good. What sort of fuel are you in fuel saving mode right now, or is it flat out at this stage of the race, lap 19?
Flat out war, man. Yeah, full throttle. I didn't worry about fuel at all. Yeah, I think I was running at about a 5.1 or 5.18, something like that. Most laps.
And
so, yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah, Reg, over to you, mate. It's you had a few incidents towards the start, a bit of contact as well. Wasn't 100% enjoyable for you.
Oh, it's just one of those things, mate. It happens.
It happens, mate. But back there in 22nd place at this moment. Hey, we haven't seen the Bay 21 safety car out again tonight. It's been very quiet of late.
I know. You've been wishing it most of the race, so I think a few of us might have been wishing that we'd had one by now as well. So I think it's almost plays a part in your strategy now, hoping for that safety car to try and give yourself a free pit stop or whatever. So
I'm more just hoping you get your money's worth out of the sponsorship, mate. We don't see it that often, so.
Right, I get my money's worth out of the sponsorship on the front of the cars.
That's it. It looks fantastic.
For that one, so.
Yeah. The Banter Alliance looks incredible. This livery, especially your car, I love the green tinge as well. As you just go for an excursion across the grass there. Everyone is. I don't know if you watched the Split 1 race last night, but that's where Greg Favell came unstuck. It's a tricky corner, that right-hander, that fast sweeping right-hander, the kink, I think they call it.
Yeah, it's one of those corners where if you go in a little bit too easy, you lose so much time out of it, and then obviously, like I just did then, you're trying to push it to the very, very edge, and it can come back to haunt you.
Yeah, and Interlagos next week for the final round. You looking forward to that one, Reg?
Yeah, yes and no. I think to be honest, it's been a bit of a shocker of a season for me, so I'm quite happy to see the end of it. And reset myself for the next one. But Interlagos, I love the track. I don't often get great performances there, but I do enjoy driving the track, so at least I can go out with a little bit of comfort in knowing that it's not one of those tracks in my list.
Yeah, and Peter, yourself, obviously one more round to go after this. You've had a good season. We've been missing John. What's an update on John? Is he coming back for a run?
Yeah. Obviously, as soon as he gets everything planets aligned and everything's good again, he's going well and everything's going well at home. So it's just a matter of time now when everything settles down and life returns back to normal. So yeah, it's he's looking forward to coming back, and he's got to re-qualify for this season. So yeah, he'll be going good.
Yeah, well, that's a story to talk about as well. Re-qualifying. I think the top 20 in Split 1 are guaranteed to run again, but everyone else gets another shot at it. So it's it's a whole kettle of fish again, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll go start again, and I'm not quite sure on the format for qualifying this year, but or this next season. But yeah, I look forward to it, and I've got Ed, a good teammate. He's in Split 3, and we're trying to get him up to speed to being Split 2 with me. So I don't think I can qualify for Split 1 anymore, but I'll certainly be trying hard.
Yeah, well, there's, I think, an influx of new drivers again. I'm not sure the exact amount, but it must be at least another 15 noobs coming in who'll be baptised with fire for this series. So they're all going to try and get their way, obviously, to the top split. That's the intention. But yeah, it's going to be competitive again next season.
Yeah, absolutely. All these new young fellas coming on board. But yeah, it's good to see them quick, and yeah, it's good to see new faces and new cars on the track. So it's great.
Yeah, there's 125 drivers registered for next season.
Wow,
so
that's awesome, isn't it?
It's incredible. So I'm just trying to work out how do you put that into 3 splits even. It's massive.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be Ben's problem.
So do you think we'd ever see 4 splits? Well, there you go. He's just told me 45 in Split 1 and then 40 in the other 2 splits. So wow.
All right. Wow, it's big fields. It's good.
Yeah, and obviously you get weeks where, and Reg, you've seen this a lot, where some drivers don't rock up, and you might get only 30 racing or 28 racing. But to have 45 in the top split, if you get 40 rocking up each week, and if you have even 35 or high mid-30s out of 40 for each of the other 2 splits, that's just huge, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is huge, and it's good to see that there's those sort of numbers. What we obviously want to see as a league going forward is the guys that sort of come in for 1 or 2 races and then disappear, and you don't see them, which sort of, if they're in the top split, it drops the top split numbers down, and you obviously want to try and keep that as full as possible. So having 45 should enable us to have nice big fields for Split 1.
Yeah, hold the phone for a sec, mate, because Simon Pitts has been put in the fence, and Troy Sipple made some contact now. I'm not sure if he was moving there in the braking zone. We'll have a look at that on a replay, but definitely big contact there. That's I've captured the replay, so let's see if we can have a quick look at what went on. But never what you want to see. Now we're on board with, I think, Troy Sipple at the time. He got a great exit out of the kink, and I'm just seeing if Pitt moves across the racetrack. Sipple goes to the inside, and then he just touched the grass, and he went back to the other side of the racetrack and tagged the rear end of him. So I wonder how they'll deem that one. Is there a report on that incident in the review of the race? We'll have to have a quick look.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but that's a super fast part of the track. If you're not on each other's
John, I'm using your same fuel.
Yeah, that's always going to happen. So
race control, no further action on the incident. Simon Pitt and Troy Sipple. So they've deemed it was just a racing incident. No further action. So there you go.
It's unlucky for Pitty because he had some serious pace.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
They'll come together for him soon. It'll all happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the beauties of having individual splits, is you're racing against the same guys week in, week out. So it gives you a little bit of a measuring stick on your own performances as well. If you're in and around, the top 5 or whatever, and you're up and down split 1, split 2, split 1, split 2, it's really hard to sort of gauge whether or not you're actually improving.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the fact too that we've got these championship points for each championship for each split, which, as you say, if people were dropping up and down between splits, you can't really do that. So the way they've locked it in now makes it much easier to have 3 nice clean cut championships.
Yeah, there's a little bit of recognition for the guys in second and third split then, these guys are generally not going to be the ones that are ever going to be challenging in the short term for split 1, so to get a little bit of recognition is nice. I love the idea that the top 3 are going up. It gives you really something to fight for outside of that recognition, and for the split 3 boys, that's going to be great.
Yeah, for sure, it's fantastic. So we're watching Matty Parker still out in front, but the gap has come down notably now. It's 4.3 seconds, and he's going to have a deficit of about 8 seconds in the pit stop to take extra fuel. So Nova Motorsport leading the race, but for how long? Travis Hunt's looked good, hasn't he? He's leading the championship, and Trav TV, as we know him as well, incredibly fast in this series, hasn't he been?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. He needs to go to split 1 for sure.
Yep.
Well, I guess it'd be a nervous thing for the top guys in split 2 because they've still got to qualify, don't they? I don't think there's any automatic progression from split 2, is there? Or is it the top 3 do go through?
The top 3, I believe, the top 3 go through.
Right.
Yeah.
And the top 17, I think it is in split 1, automatically qualified. I think.
There you go. So that makes you 20 in split 1.
And I'll be able to clarify it. And yeah, I think that makes you 20, and then everybody else, well, obviously the top 3 from split 3 as well go up to split 2 and so on and so forth.
And have they discussed the qualifying tracks yet? What will be the pre-qualifying tracks for next season?
They did, I think, about 2 weeks ago. They did a chocolate wheel.
That's right. Yep. And how did it result?
Ooh. I reckon was it Yama's one of them, and maybe
was it
Barber was
Mosport?
the other. Oh, Mosport. Sorry.
Yeah, Mosport.
Barber.
Yeah, Barber. That's good, Barber.
I'll see you in split 3 next season, guys.
There you go.
That's a shocking track for me, Mosport. I think my last 7 or 8 starts, I've managed to have 1 finish. So.
Yeah, so just a bit of clarification from Ben Anthony there. It says top 20 split 1 are automatically back in split 1, and then the top 3 from split 2 go through, so 23 automatically in, which leaves 17, or actually will leave 22 spots now with that bigger 45 grid field. So there's still 22 spots to qualify with the automatic inclusions, and Mosport and Barber are the 2 tracks that have been selected as the pre-qualifying tracks. So yeah, interesting. That'll be good to watch if to see who can get up there, and I'll be watching the updated times each day to see who is qualifying in the top split. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it certainly takes on a whole new level when you're doing the full lap quality. I think it's a great idea in implementing it that way. It gives those guys that sort of need that clear track. It gives them that racing room, but it also it gives you that sort of anticipation each night, looking to see if the time that you've left in there's good enough, or whether you're coming back for another crack tomorrow night.
Well, it's been good to talk to you boys. I'll let you get back to it, and thank you for coming in for a quick chat. So Peter Latham and Reg James, thanks boys.
No worries. Thanks, Luke. And thanks, Reg.
Cheers guys. Righto, so we'll get back to the action, and it's good to talk to them both, isn't it? Reggie's got the quietest microphone, and Peter's was nice and loud, so I had to try to flick up and down on the noise. So we'll get the cars turned back up, and let's just run down the order where we're at here on lap 24 of 39. Parker leads Hunt by 4.1 seconds over King, then 11.6 to top 3. 32 seconds that is back to Weston then. So Scott Weston, this man in the Blacktown Mazda Type N eSports car, still has Peter Latham for company, 4th and 5th. They are 33 seconds off the lead of the race. So far we haven't seen any 2 stops in the top 15. Paul Hayes being the first that has made his 2nd stop, and he's all the way down there in 17th place. Then the bottom of the order from 19th down have also all made their 2nd pit stop. So we expect it soon. They're well within range now to come in and fill them to the brim and then run it home. And is that John King in the pits? Now it is. So I spoke too soon, didn't I? King's come in, and this will be his final pit stop to then run out the final 14 laps of his race. Now, he muffed up the first stop, he missed his box and had to reverse. Let's see how he goes this time. Much better. Stops on his marks and can get on with it. So that was the Hoff just going through while he's stationary in the pits. Scala and also Troy Sippler in the pits now as well. So Parker leads, gap almost under 4 seconds now. And when we see Travis Hunt come in and fuel it up, he's got a lot more fuel in the tank. Remember, extra 8 seconds. So Parker will be due in first. And then Travis may just try and run along from the undercut as King comes back out in 9th place. And what's the distance to the leader? He comes out in 9th place, just over a minute off the lead. 1 minute, 1 second to be exact. Gonna crank the audio for half a lap here while I grab myself a quick drink. It's right beside me, but I've got to actually drink it. Stop talking for a second. So let's crank up some audio sound and enjoy the sound of V8 racing here live on RACESTARS TV. It up again, plenty of pit stops just taking place there. Tim Betts in the lane now as well, and the top 2 stopper is now Travis Hunt, 6th position. There he is, and he's ahead of Matt Parker, who's made his 2nd stop as well. It was 25 seconds stationary versus 31 seconds for Parker, so that's where he's paid back the fuel, and he's come out only 3 seconds behind though, 3.7. There he is in the background, so this is not too bad. Riali's in there, he's out of position, needs to stop again. He's currently 8th, and John King effectively running 3rd or a net 3 in this race. He's right there in 9th place. We've got Betts and Quain both in the pits now as we jump on board with John King. He'll want to try and clear Riali as quickly as possible, and maybe has his fingers crossed here that Riali's just going to jump into the pits at the end of this lap and get out of the way, because he knows his races with Parker and then also Hunt, who are just up the road. You can see Hunt just disappearing around the corner. There goes Parker around the corner as well. But all that's in his main focus is this big rear wing that says Riali. Through the carousel we go, taking a few little nibbles at the throttle there to get it all right, get it dialed in. Now he exits well. He's got a good run this time on Riali down towards the King, flat out. Oh, through there they hold on for dear life. And now down towards Canada Corner, isn't it? This right-hander at the end of this, what is meant to be a back straight, but it's quite curvy for a straight. Still, King can't get through. This is good driving by Riali. This is for position. He doesn't need to give this position up. There's no blue flags out there. He's in very much within his right to race as quickly and as well as possible here and keep John King behind. So Fletcher Christian into the lane, and you can see Riali does peel off and go into the pits, so as we expected him to. John King now gets that track position back, and he can chase on after Hunt and Parker, who are just up the road. It's 5.8 seconds covering what is well, effectively the top 3 in this race tonight. Fletcher Christian in, Healy, Riali and Martin all in the pit lane now. Reg James elevated up to 11th. He hasn't made his second stop. Paul Hayes, who has made 2 stops on that lap 1 stop, maybe in a little bit of strife and need to still pit for a 3rd time tonight. Don't forget, at the end of the race tonight, we will have an updated points tally for how this championship is sitting. So I'll get that copied across now and set for the end of the broadcast. And I can tell you, just having a quick look at it, there's not a lot in it, especially for the minor placings in the top 3. So look forward to showing you that at the end of the broadcast. And oh dear, Travis Hunt all over the shop. And what a moment that was for the guy who's ultimately going to probably take the lead of this race once the drivers in front stop. He almost just threw it away. And did he just lapse concentration because he's looking at fuel data, or who knows? But that's just brought the gap down by a little bit more now to 2.5 seconds to Parker. Matty wins with the stars. Thanks, Matty. Happy Friday night, my friend. Right out sideways, says JC Ewens. It was a tank slapper and a half, that's for sure. Thanks, Matty, again. 200 more. Legend. As we see Weston and Latham in the pits now. Top of the order. So that puts the Hoff into the lead of this race. He crosses the line. Andrew Hoffman, although he needs to stop again, he can at least tick off the box that he led a lap here tonight at Road America. And the big Hoff, Peak Performance Racing, in the chair, there he is. Nice crash helmet, got the suit on. Driving very nicely indeed tonight, up 6 spots into the lead of the race. But for how long? Looking back at the times, he'll probably slot back out around 8th, maybe 9th place. Dave Baldock's up into the top 10, by the way. Baldock, a little bit of a mention here is, oh, Craig Healy's off on the grass, but back to Baldock. There he is. Not a scratch on that car tonight. Look at that. I reckon since he's joined, or the amalgamation in this joining of 2 teams, Dave Baldock has shown a lot of respect for this car. Not a single scratch at all. Beautiful job. Let's watch his pit stop. I always like watching the replay drivers pit stop because we get a little bit of animation of the tyres disappearing. Let's hope eventually they bring it to all of the stops for us as broadcasters. Oh, he has to go back. Look at that. His man goes, hey, you're too far away. Go back. Wheels off. New wheels going on. There we go. Sound effects and everything. And Dave Baldock will head out. How good was that? We actually saw the pit crew member there say, hey, you've gone too far. Back it up. John Van Ries says, no scratches. And Dave Baldock's not trying hard enough. Mark Dole with a 200 as well. Thanks, Mark. Hello, mate. You've got to be so proud looking at this series, haven't you? 125 drivers registered for season 12. I find that hard to comprehend. It's such a popular series. And remember, you've got to be over the age of 40, so that knocks out a lot of the iRacing community. And it is such a great show, this one. It's definitely getting better and better each season. The racing is tight, the competition is fierce, and the top 10 in the top split, you got some of the quickest drivers you'll see now in the iRacing market, as we see Hunt come through and take the lead. Start lap 39, 11 to go. Lap 29, I should say, 11 to go for that lap 39 win. If you can keep it here, Parker's just behind him, 2.4 seconds, and John King rounds out your top 3. There's Matt Parker, John King within 4.2 now, and Reg James will move up into, or will he? No, he's still coming into the pits, I think, and he is. He peels off into the lane. So Scott Weston will go through into 4th place, and Weston on a charge here. He's pitted twice, so he's good to the end of this race. And Paul Hayes with him will definitely be wishing there's a safety car. Like I said, he pitted on lap 1, fueled it up as much as he could, lap 2. Got back out into the race and then has had 2 stops. But whether or not he's got enough fuel to bring it home on a smell of an oily rag, we'll wait and see. Impressed with this drive though from Scott Weston, up 7 spots for Taipan eSports. Beautiful job. John King wants sound effects at every pit stop. Oh, dearie me. I was just trying to find one coming to the pits for you. I think they're all going out. I think they're all outbound here. Oh no, here we go. Let's see what we can do for you. Or is he in? Is he in or out? I think he's going out as well. A long run down the lane though. Here he goes. What do you want, tyres? Tyres and fuel? It's a shocker. Never again. You've heard it once and once only. And Will Wilson says, get that guy from Police Academy out of retirement. Travis Hunt leading by 2.3 seconds. Come on. Come on, Matty Parker, make a game of this. There he is. The gap keeps coming down. Will we see Travis Hunt make another mistake? Wouldn't a safety car just make this a pearl of a race right now? Ben Anthony reckons it was bloody pigeons. Did sound a bit like a pigeon parked across the line. 2.2 does get a little bit of time that time around out of Hunt's lead. Not a lot. Richard Barella down the back having a fight with Todd Martin. Let's have a look at this for 19th place. Always look for battles, and this is where we've gone to find it. 19th place, and behind them, Quaney 57's just looming as well. Then you got Fewens and Baldock back in 22nd and 23rd. Fewens has lost his bonnet. What's happened there, Jace? So Jason Fewens has had an impact with something. The front of the car doesn't look very damaged, but definitely the hood has left the building. Now for the fuel, we've got to do a Carl, however that would sound. I'm not sure how that would. That was definitely a quarter-inch drive, Christopher. Should have done Ugga-Duggas. Many Ugga-Duggas. We've got a friend that works at the tyre shop. She's a secretary. Thanks, Eddie, for the stars. The absolute legend. Eddie with 500. And she started last week, and I said, listen, just walk out into one of your mechanics and say, don't give that too many Ugga-Duggas, and see what they say to you. You've got to go and ask her if she's done it yet. I reckon it's hilarious. I always give the guys at work plenty when they give something too many Ugga-Duggas, and what was righty-tighty becomes righty-loosey. It is the worst feeling in the world as a mechanic when you over-tighten something. Probably when you should have had the torque wrench and you just think, oh, I'll give it one more Ugga-Dugga, and all of a sudden, I think my first experience of doing that was as a kid working on my BMX bike, trying to get the handlebars to not move forwards and backwards every time I do a jump. So I thought, look, I'll get the biggest ratchet my old man had in the shed, and I'll tighten up these bolts on the stock, or whatever you call it, on the BMX as tight as I can. And I had this big ratchet and a bar, and all of a sudden my righty-tighty became righty-loosey, and I was in a bit of trouble. So I learned a valuable lesson that day about over-tightening bolts. Fewens in the demo derby car, says Reg James. It's all happening. And there's a slight battle going on here. Peter Vanderkran's still holding on to 9th place. That's where he started. Troy Sipple's up 2 into the top 10. He's got Simon Pitt, who they had a little coming together, remember, quite a few laps ago. Jason Scala's up 4 spots. It's 2. Our biggest mover and shaker in tonight's race, Peter Latham. Great drive, up into 7th. And 11 positions he's made up in tonight's race. The 2 drivers that have had probably the most misfortune tonight is Rick Viger. 21 spots he lost, down in 24th, and Roy Clark out of the race. Has retired, or has he? No, he's still out there. He's still running around. Very dirty car. Look at the front of that Panther Alliance car. That has had oil sprayed all over it at one point tonight when he had that, I think, blown engine. So looking very worse for wear. But Hunt still leads, just under 2 seconds now, 1.9. So could we still see a close finish tonight? Now, who can we get from Banter Alliance to come and have a quick chat about how everything's going, how things are settling in as a new team in this series? Let's see if we can get someone in for a quick chat as we count down the laps of this race. Because it's seems to be working well for them. They've got a couple of drivers out there tonight. Reg James up into 18th now. They've had a bit of misfortune tonight, haven't they? We've seen Jason Fewens up there really challenging top 10s, but tonight, bad luck, misfortune at the start, finds himself towards the back. See if we can't just grab a quick interview. Scott Weston's done well for Type N eSports, and he's holding out Paul Hayes. I love the fuel figures here from Hazy. Maybe he can give us a little bit of a sneak, not a spoiler, but let us know, is he good to the end here with 2 stops in the bag? The second one he took 39.2 seconds worth of fuel. So part of me thinks he may be okay to go to the end of this race. That's got to be the maximum amount of fuel you can put in. He's gaining here on Scott Weston as well, so he's not in fuel saving mode. Getting closer once again. And Dave Bordock's off the track. And there's a bit going on between, I think it's Peck and who was the other driver just having a chat. So both cars back on the circuit. No substitute for leverage, says Jason Fewens. I reckon the hardest thing I've ever had to undo was the front pulley off my 4AG Toyota motor in my Toyota Sprinter back in the day. It was actually a 4AG ZE, and we were putting a bigger oversized pulley on the front of the engine to then obviously overdrive the supercharger. So it was an oversized crank pulley with a smaller ring, I think it was, for the, if that makes sense, yeah, smaller ring for the supercharger belt, so it would overdrive the supercharger, and went from 8 pounds, I think, to 12 pounds. But I just remember trying to undo this bloody front nut off, whatever you call it, off the ring pulley. And we could not, even Ugga Duggers wouldn't undo it. We ended up having to heat it up, I think. We finally got off with some heat from a torch, and it finally came loose. But wow, that was, I've never had anything like that to try and undo as we watched Troy Sippel scour and pit. Great fight here going on. This is Troy Sippel looking back from his car, lap 33. We got Paul Hayes in the green room, so let's have a little bit of a chat with him this stage of the race. Paul, how are we looking on fuel, mate? We get a bit of a live insight here without giving it away.
Absolutely no problems on fuel, Luke.
No problems on fuel?
Yeah, you could pit on lap 1 and go 20 laps and make it to the end. So.
Perfect.
Yep.
You're looking good.
To the end.
Yeah, you're looking good. You've just overtaken Scott Weston. The car looks like it's handling well, and obviously the Scorpion eSports, you guys are right up there for the championship. So these points are valuable after what happened at the start of the race for you.
Yeah, it's, at the start of the race was a bit unfortunate. I was probably being a bit too cautious, and I gave more room to the right than I needed, and I put one tyre in the dirt and spun it out. And unfortunately, Roy and Rick Viger were the unlucky recipients of me having a spin. But I actually went a little bit wider than I should have, giving more room on the first lap, thinking, you know, there's no need to battle right now. And it was just, an unfortunate thing. And it was, I think, something to do with the game that I don't feel it should have spun there, but it was violent how it just, as soon as it was on the brake, it disappeared from under me. So it was just an unfortunate incident. Yeah,
and did you get a 10-point post-race penalty? Is that what it was?
Yeah, for actually hitting Rick. So I didn't release my brake, I held on, and it was just an unfortunate thing, and I feel for Rick on that, because he was a chance to be third in the championship, but that might have got away from him now because of that incident. So
Dave Bordock's just reminded you, mate, that it's not a game as well.
Well, it is. Everything's a game in life, mate. Everything you do that you're not earning money for
That's
is
right.
a game. And my yacht racing's a game as well. It's just all part of the game of life.
That's it. Yeah, I know.
And you know, you have an incident like that, and I didn't even sleep very well last night, thinking, oh fuck, what have I done? And trying to do the right thing. So, you know, we are all become friends in the game, or in the iRacing, as you call it.
Yeah.
And when something like that happens, you do feel for the people you become friends with on Discord, and really did not, mean for that to happen. So
Yeah, that's all good. I mean, I know I got drilled when I first started commentating. I got drilled so many times for calling it a game. It's like, it's a sim. But it's like, you know what? It's a game. We know it's a game. It's not. It's fun. It's meant to be fun.
Is when something like that does happen, keep your cool, keep your head down, and keep cracking on, because a lot of things can happen within a long race like that, and you can get your chance to get back. So,
and the thing is, looking at that, Paul, sorry to cut in on you, but just a perfect example is if we had a safety car right now, your race pace is right up there with the top guys. So obviously, because of that incident, there's about a 28-second buffer to the top three. So it's a podium's out of contention unless there was to be a safety car. And I love that you've just got your head down. You're still turning out these quick lap times and keeping that opportunity alive.
Yeah, for sure, and it has happened a couple of times this year. And you need to have 2 or 3 strategies at the start of each race for incidents to happen, and say, all right, if this happens, what strategy can I have? And if you have 2 or 3 strategies, you put your head down and keep going, and it's amazing what can happen if you've got clean air and you can just drive how you like.
And Trav, your teammate, he's going very well, isn't he, once again tonight?
Yeah, Trav is a genuine, split one driver in his own right, and he's been a big help getting me on the pace. Pitty's joined our team, and in practice tonight, Pitty went third in the practice before the race. So it's amazing getting into a team and having someone like Trav with you, how quickly you can get your speed up. So it's great having him there, although he's, a lot of the drivers think he should be in split one.
Yeah, so next season, I mean, are you going to really put a bit of time and effort into trying qualifying for split one yourself?
Well, I'm hoping that I finish in the top 3 and I go straight.
You'll be elevated, that's
one.
right, yeah, that's true.
Which is, it's still a tight battle for that, and we'll see how we go.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the points now after this race, which I won't disclose just yet. We'll see them at the end of the night, but it is super close up the top there, and you are in with a good chance of being elevated up there. But there's, you've got Viger not too far behind. You've got the Hoffs being good, Sipple. I mean, that gap between probably second place and 11th place or second and 10th is about 100 points. So it's a really close-knit championship, this one.
Yeah, and you look back over the season, you go, oh, I dropped 2 points there, I dropped 4 points there, I dropped 6 points there, and you go, oh, if I had got those back now, it's just very tight. But everybody's probably got those stories, and it is very tight at the top. Yeah,
we're just seeing Todd Duggan limping around. He's had a couple of incidents here, and I think he's going to have to retire this car on lap 35.
Race control 511 got a blown motor.
So he's got a blown motor, so he's just called out to race control for a tow.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the last lap's a very interesting one to watch, Luke. So
looking forward to it.
Stay tuned.
Thanks, Paul. All right, take care, man. We'll chat to you later on.
See you, mate. Bye.
Cheers, Paul Hayes, having a quick chat with us there. Whilst we're heading towards the final part of the race now, closing in. Duggan's still up against the fence now.
Has to go down a lap.
Just waiting to hear. Wouldn't it be interesting if there was a safety car this late in the race? Todd Martin.
No, I've already used the basket there, so pretty much out anyway.
So Eugene said he's pretty much out of the race. There goes your race leader going through now, is it? No, so that was Hayes going through. Travis Hunt was going around now as well. So 1.7 seconds between the top 2. That's come down again, and 2.9 between the top 3. So it's on. Paul Hayes just hinted that there's a bit of excitement still to come in this race tonight, so don't go anywhere. Lap 36 of 39. I don't think we're going to get that late safety car that I've been pleading for. I think the safety car well and truly has not come out. It's still in the pit lane, both of them. Travis Hunt trying to work his way towards another victory tonight. Scott Weston and Duggan, I think, has retired it to the pit lane, so he's out of this race. We're looking at Scott Weston now, who was overtaken by Paul Hayes probably about 10 laps ago now. And it's on between these two. I think there's still more to be seen. Safety car will not come out in the last 5 laps of a race, says Ben Anthony. So there you go. I learn something every day. we might see a makey it's not fair situation. Maybe, is that why? I'm reading some of these comments. I've had hardly any time to go across and read them tonight. You guys have been great with your input. Over 200 comments, I think, already tonight on YouTube. So well done, guys. Don't forget, make sure you go and tee up that WKMP TV channel for Split 3 straight after this one. As we watch Paul Hayes now, just trying to pull a margin here. It's a pity, it's a huge gap. 31 seconds from the leader back to 4th place. The top 3, could there still be an incident here which will see Paul Hayes on the podium? And that's why keeping his head down is so important. As your race leader comes across to start lap 37 of 39 in the 207.3 versus 207.1. Parker's got the gap down to 1.5. Getting closer and closer each lap. Let's ride on board with him. It's a SpongeBob helmet. Is that what that is? He's got a suit and tie on. A SpongeBob helmet. Having a good success rate of saying SpongeBob tonight as we Sipple on the radio there with someone else. So Troy Sipple is tucked up behind the lap car of Roy Clark, so he just asked if he could get past, and I think that's what Roy Clark will probably let him through on the pit straight coming up very shortly. We'll look from the drone camera and just watch this unfold. So Clark will come out onto the straight and he'll probably move to the right hand side and just bleed out of the throttle at some point, I would think. Maybe not. Troy Sipple goes through. Clark stays in front. 24th versus 12th place in the race, and Clark's obviously said, oh, Clark got very sideways on the entry to the corner there. He gathered it up, big sideways moment. Now he'll let Sipple go through. So he probably thought, okay, that was a little bit too close for comfort. Big slide as he came into turn 1. Hayes still has Weston attached for 4th place. Jacob Neasley predicts the Hoff for a hard finish. There you go, he's in 7th place now. That's where he started the race. These are the drivers that have started and finishing in the same positions. Travis Hunt obviously on pole position, he's leading the race. The Hoff started 7th, is running 7th, and Peter Vanderkranz started 9th, is running 9th, and Troy Sipple starting 12th, is running in 12th place. Clark has gone for another spin. And this will be a night he'll be happy to probably park this up shortly. Is Scott Weston going to challenge here for 4th place in this race? Lap 38, we've got 2 laps to go. Let's jump on board with Scotty Weston, Taipan eSports. Big thanks to Taipan Events for letting us use the YouTube channel for hopefully only 90 days, but it could be forever. Hopefully Ben Anthony understands that it could be forever. Who knows? As we watch Weston go down the pit straight, we've got 2 to go. Watching the gaps at the front, it's now 0.8 of a second. This is getting interesting. Look at this. Matt Parker has closed up the margin, and Scott Weston has also closed up the margin. We've got 2 little battles in the top 5, but importantly, this lead battle is the one I want to watch, because this is getting closer and closer by the minute. We're going to see a grandstand finish like we saw last night. I'm ready for it. This is going to be great. So Parker now within 0.6 of a second. The difference in the last pit stop, or nothing. They both stopped on lap 25. They both took on the required amount of fuel to finish the race. Ben Anthony says no dramas at all. That's good. We'll see. I think we've got till July and we get our YouTube channel back, hopefully. But no idea. Still to this day, YouTube has not replied to one message I've sent them. I've probably sent them 100 messages saying what the heck is going on. Why can one little piece of drone footage, which was deemed as fair game and labelled fair game to use, was then copyrighted and took our whole channel down. Took our whole channel away for 20 seconds of footage, fair game footage, which if you understand anything, I've always tried to be super careful about what I broadcast. Do most of the music myself and use Harris Heller for the very fact that we didn't want copyright strikes, and I managed to get 3 copyright strikes in the space of about 10 seconds, which took the whole channel down. So, and then kindly offered if I would like to pay $1,500 US, I could have my channel back. To which I said, how about go golf? And that was the end of that, so 90-day ban. Righto, Travis Hunt leads the last lap of the race. The gap 0.8 of a second. Marcus P2. John King third place. And the gap back to Hayes, still around 30 or so seconds. But that is a close knit battle as well. Keep an eye on the top 3, but we'll also keep an eye on this Hayes-Weston battle. Sounds like an old Western movie, doesn't it? Hazy Western battle going on right now. Paul Hayes versus Scott Weston, 4th and 5th position in the race. Back to the leaders as we head to the halfway point of the final lap of the race. There is the gap back, 0.8 of a second. I think Travis Hunt's got this under control. And, well, let's pump it through. Let's try and get this done. And for the championship, this will be really good. And in that championship fight as well, you've got John King, he's up there. And Paul Hayes also in the championship hunt. Scott Weston as well. So that's why this Weston-Hayes battle is very important. Because, and something's happened there because Hayes is off the track and Weston has gone through. He's got a lot of damage on the car. Something we might have to try and revisit if we can after the race, because we're almost done. But there you go, Scott Weston's got ahead of Paul Hayes now. There's a little bit of a comment on there, but we didn't pick up what it was. So here we go. Next week, I'll run you through the scenario for Travis to win the championship. He was leading the championship coming into this round, and it looks like he's going to easily take the win tonight as he comes through the final corner to take round 11 of the V8 Vets season number 11. 11-11. He's taken the win tonight, and he does it in style, 0.6 of a second. Travis Hunt, he always puts on a post-race show. He's doing it now. He slides his way down towards the first corner. Parker gets second, and John King, great P3. Weston will go through. Oh, Hayes off into the fence. Can you believe it? Hayes in the fence. And Weston goes through. Latham goes through as well. And this has been an interesting last lap. We might have to have a look at this post-race, because there was an issue earlier on which saw Paul Hayes in the fence a couple of times. So wow, big finish to the race. It's going to be Latham across the line for 4th in the end. Weston gets 5th, and Hayes comes across the line in 6th place. The Hoff will limp home for 7th. Almost sounds like he's out of fuel there. The Hoff gets P7. Mark Peck will get 8th. Vanderkran 9th. Riali will come home in position 10. Congratulations. We'll bring you the results shortly, and the championship results as well. This is how it finished tonight, and it was a win for Travis Hunt. He gets the job done by a full 0.5 of a second in the end. Great drifting down the front straightaway too. Matt Parker P2, King, Latham, Weston, Hayes, Hoffman, Peck, Vanderkran and Riali, your top 10. Then with Scala, Sipple, Pitt, Healy, Christian, James, Bett and Martin for 18th place. And 19th place went to Barella. Quaney got 20th. Viger down there in 21st with Bordock, Fewens, Clark, Duggan and Worrell rounding out the 26 drivers in the race tonight. This is how the championship points end up after this penultimate round. It is Travis Hunt on top, 1,597 points. Leads John King on 15-15. And look how close it is to Paul Hayes, 15-12. He's down in 3rd place there with Scott Weston in 1462 points in 4th place. Just on those points too, basically next week Travis needs to finish 75% of the race and score points to win the championship. And well, it's going to be an interesting battle, to say the least. Let's go and talk to some drivers and see who we've got over in the broadcast booth. And we should have the top 3, which we do. So let's first of all bring them in. So Travis, congratulations tonight, man. Fantastic victory and a well sorted out race, man. Well done.
Oh, thanks, Luke. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Talk us through the event, man. Obviously, you started pole position, you led the race, but then you had Matt Parker take less fuel in the pit stop, jump in front of you. Were you ever worried at that stage? I think he had about a 5-second lead there.
Yeah, mate, I was crapping my pants all the way through the race. The dude's just really quick, and he was just explaining to me in the green room then that he's actually got kidney stones or something, so he finds it hard to brake. So he's doing well for having injuries. I'm scared.
Fantastic race, and Matty, P2 tonight. You look so quick out there, look so comfortable in the car. Just at the end, just couldn't take Travis off the top step.
Yeah, mate, thanks. Yeah, mate, like I said to the boys in the green room, I'm just struggling to brake any harder, so I'm sort of getting to a point where it's like I've got to let go of the brake and, just hold on for dear life, really make sure I get around the corner okay.
Well, fantastic job for P2, mate. And then finally, John King. Another great result for JWM, mate. Keeps you in the title championship hunt as well. You're right up there in P2 behind Travis and ahead of Paul Hayes. So coming into the final round, mate, there's going to be some pressure, isn't there? The top three obviously progressing through to split one for next year as well, for next season, I should say.
Yeah, it's got real tight real fast. At one point, I was sort of looking behind me with all the boys going, one little mistake and you drop from that third spot down to like 6th or 7th. But I think a bit of unfortunate mistakes sort of helped me tonight, so got a bit lucky, but the boys in front were fast. I gave it everything. I was locking up and out of my rhythm, just trying to keep up, so I'll have to get my act together next week.
Mate, it was great driving. Good to see you up there again, and great to see JWM eMotorsports on the podium consistently now. So let's go through the top three, do some thank yous. Firstly, Travis, and I want to say too, man, thanks for that video. I just need to download if I want to show it on the stream. So it was a great hot lap you did there. So who would you like to thank, mate, for the win?
Just Wrongbury Centre Meats as usual, the butchery on the Gold Coast. Anyone wants meat that's on the Gold Coast, duck in, we'll give you something. Quantum Tinting Solutions, Bay 21 Coffee, and just all the guys in the race. I'm really enjoying this season and appreciate it. Cheers, guys.
And you'll be back, obviously, for next season in the top split at this rate, if you can keep the points together for next week.
Yeah, coming for you, Jamie. Watch out, buddy.
Excellent. Matty, P2, who would you like to thank, man?
Oh, mate, just the usual series sponsors. Yeah, they're always good to be behind the series, and great series, and Nova Motorsports, Kart Lab, and of course KF Kart. Good brand, mate. So if you want to go kart, by all means, hit me up.
Awesome, sounds good. And Johnny King, P3 tonight, who would you like to thank?
SCS and JWM Motorsports, Glues and Tools, TWR Engineering, and TCR Fab, and obviously all the guys that do all the hard work behind the scenes that I guess they get the recognition, or they need the recognition that they don't always get, so with tunes and servers and the broadcast, so appreciate it.
Fantastic job. So your top three tonight: Travis Hunt with the win, Matty Parker P2, and John King your top three. Thanks guys for coming in on a Friday night. Enjoy the rest of your evening and great racing. Thanks for the entertainment tonight.
Cheers, legend, mate.
Cheers,
Well
mate.
done, you boys. Well done. See you next week.
Awesome.
Yeah, see you, boys.
Yep, cheers guys. All right, that's it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. It's been so much fun. Travis Hunt, too strong in the end. I keep loving this. Look at him crossing the line here. He's got this knack of doing, like Will Wilson said, a 200 kph tank slapper down the pit straight away. It's magical to watch. Look at this. Love it. What a great way to celebrate. And he took the win in style tonight. We were final round next week from Interlagos, Brazil. The final round of the V8 Veterans Season 11. It will come down to the wire in all the splits, so make sure you come and tune in. If you've got time now, make sure you go over to WKMP TV with Johnny Van Reef for the Split 3 broadcast in the Driver's Lounge. They're all over there ready to go and ready to get into the action. So until next time, I'm Luke. This is RACESTARS TV. Catch you next week.